So the lineup for the first race of the day: Jason Plato on pole position. Alongside him is his teammate Darren Turner. Right behind, big rival Matt Neal looking for the title. And Gordon Shedden, his own teammate, is on 4th position in the grid. Turkington is 5th. His teammate is 6th place on the grid. It's all 2x2 at the top end. Then it's Gareth Howell and Tom Chilton back on the 4th row of the grid, with the other Vauxhall of Fabrizio Giovanardi back in 9th position and Mike Jordan in 10th place. Jason Hughes in the MG lines up 11th ahead of Gavin Smith. Paul O'Neill returns to British Touring Cars. He lines up 13th ahead of Dave Pinkney in 14th. James Kay is 15th ahead of a newcomer, Chris Stockton. And then it's Adam Jones in the Lexus with Martin Bell in the BMW alongside. Nick Leeson is another man making his debut here today. So is Darren Dowling. And behind them, we've got Mark Smith and Mark Jones. Mark Jones, another man to have his first race in British Touring Cars. At the back, after problems in qualifying, Owen Murray and Richard Marsh. All set then for the first of the 3 races here today. Jason Plato desperate for points to try and keep the challenge alive to Matt Neal. Neal starts 3rd. The lights are on, we're all set to go, and we're racing, and Jason Plato goes well from pole, and Darren Turner coming back in a second, but there's a crash behind. One of the Vauxhalls involved, Gavin Smith, Jason Hughes involved there as well. And up front, it's Plato who's made the break away from Darren Turner. Matt Neal in 3rd. And then right behind him is Gordon Shedden, his teammate. Everybody jostling for position up towards the hairpin. Maybe everybody getting a bit desperate at this stage in the season, looking for points, even in race 1. But Plato has made the break.
Yeah, the front 5 cars all getting away very evenly and closing the door into paddock together. But then further back, disaster. Having said it was a good place to start, one of the Vauxhalls turned into the pit wall.
Yeah, so disappointment for a couple of cars already. But the Seats are trying to make the early break here as they come into clearways. And again, Jason Plato just easing away up front from teammate Darren Turner, Matt Neal, Gordon Shedden. And then we've got Turkington. Chilton started well. Tom Chilton's up to 6th place, but the safety car is on circuit, and they're all going to have to back off. I hope those guys behind slow down reasonably smartly, otherwise they're going to be running into the back of one another.
Yeah, there's Gavin Smith's car. I don't know what happened there. It looks like he's probably moved across or had a tap from the rear, and it's just turned him into the wall on the right-hand side. There's no damage on the back left, so here we are. Look further back. Whether he makes a bad start or Jason Hughes just makes a really good start.
Oh, he tried to squeeze.
He had a good start and went across the front of Jason Hughes, and in fact did it himself.
Pretty much, yes. Mike Jordan was ahead of him, didn't make a particularly good start, but he got across to, oh yeah, that was it, and just basically took Hughes with him.
Yeah, he did. I mean, to be fair, that's unfortunate for Jason Hughes. He may have had a more glancing blow against the wall and got away with it. The MG is pretty strong, but still, nevertheless, anytime you hit a concrete wall, there's only one thing that's going to give, and that's the car.
Jason Plato leads the field around out of clearways as we get ready for the restart. Safety car peels into the pits, and it's Plato and Darren Turner. 1-2 for Seat at the moment, and Seat, of course, looking to try and wrap up the Manufacturers' Championship here this weekend. They're looking in good shape. Matt Neal is 3rd, and behind him Gordon Shedden.
Yeah, and Darren Turner this time staying very close to the back of Jason Plato. At Knockhill, he got penalised for dropping back. He stayed very close, and in actual fact, Matt Neal didn't make the best getaway, although he's closing up a bit now. But Matt Neal got dropped just a little bit on that restart.
Remember, Matt Neal is carrying the maximum ballast in this race, comes into this event obviously as championship leader, and therefore carries 45 kilos of ballast. And then after this race, the ballast is given according to the race finishing position, and that at the moment would mean Plato would be heaviest next time out. He's just got to focus on staying where he is right now. He's got his teammate there, Darren Turner, his last meeting for Seat before James Thompson comes back and takes over for the final event at Silverstone. I think Darren really wants to get something out of this weekend. He's driven very well, but hasn't really come away with a lot. A couple of problems at Knockhill with an exclusion and a penalty. So it'll be good for Darren Turner to get some results. We're on board with Matt Neal. He's 3rd with Darren Turner up ahead.
Yeah, I went out and watched yesterday in qualifying at Paddock Hill Bend, and that Honda looks so stable through there. I mean, it's the quickest corner on the track, and the car's just absolutely planted. Some of the other, the Seat looks good, obviously, as well through there. Some of the other cars, particularly the Vauxhall, very loose at the rear. A lot of oversteer built into that car's setup to try and help the front tyres last, but certainly the Honda looked the most planted through there. Oh, Darren Turner off at the front.
Darren Turner from 2nd place, off on the grass
and
now.
Retiring.
Really, yeah, pulled off to the side of the road, so it looks as though it's a technical problem. That's just on the inside at Graham Hill Bend that he's pulled off. and that means that Jason Plato still leads, but now his big rival Matt Neal is second. This was the moment he just slowed down, pulled over to the left-hand side.
Yeah, quite possibly an electrical problem or something, or a fuel problem. It's just, there's no obvious signs of an engine blow-up or anything. Could be wrong, obviously, but he's just pulled off nice and gently on the inside. There's the rabbit's eye view, but that's good news for Matt Neal and not such good news for Jason Plato.
Fabrizio Giovanardi, he was race winner last time out at Knockhill, finally got Vauxhall's 100th win, but now he's really struggling to hold on to 8th position. Out of clearways they come, onto the Brabham Straight, building up to around about 130 miles an hour before they're on the brakes for Paddock Hill Bend. Jordan not quite close enough. Not quite close enough.
Another shot here going through Paddock. Does Giovanardi get the car loose? He touches the curb, which doesn't help, but he's a little bit slower, a bit more cautious through there. But if Mike can get a good run at him through there, into Druids is a good place to overtake.
Giovanardi had an interesting debut here at France earlier on this year. Of course, remember, he's still in his first year of... Oh, and that's one of the new Lexuses off. And it's Chris Stockton, who was running well. He was in 13th position. And that's a great shame because he was, as I say, top of the guys making their debut. That's his teammate just right behind him there, Darren Dowling. Let's see what happened to it.
Well, just too fast into Paddock, ran out of road and run really wide. Lucky not to get to the barriers, but that's all the way through the gravel. What a shame. Chris has been doing really well, actually, and was running well in the race, but at least he's kept the car in one piece, even if he's lost the front splitter and got 100 weight of gravel underneath him.
So the cars come out of clearways. The battle continues between these two, Rob Collard and Gareth Howell. A race being led by Jason Plato, though still he has a 3-second advantage in the Seat over Matt Neal in second place, Gordon Shedden in third, Turkington in fourth, Tom Chilton still in fifth now. Chilton a bit ahead of these two. There is our race leader. It is Jason Plato. There's the gap back to Matt Neal. So quite a big gap. The ballast on that Honda perhaps just hurting Matt Neal a touch in this race. Can't quite keep on terms with Jason Plato, and in trouble Dowling. Oh, he just about managed to save that. He's been passed by Nick Leeson. Leeson, another new man in the series, and it was out of clearways again. That was where we saw him in trouble earlier.
Yeah, he's got the same thing. Look at that. Wow, you couldn't get more sideways. That's what we call a windscreen wiper job, from lock to lock, side to side. But wow, I didn't know the Lexus had that much steering lock on it. But
that looked a bit odd though, didn't it? Wouldn't it look as though there's something wrong with the car, or to go that sideways?
He's either got a problem with the rear, but because that's happened twice now, so I don't think he's doing that deliberately. It's very entertaining for the people watching up at clearways, but no, certainly not deliberate.
Here comes Howell up the inside. That was a great late move by Gareth Howell, because Collard and myself didn't think he was going to try it there, and Collard left the door open.
Yeah, Collard taking the same line that he'd done all the other laps, and obviously Gareth just had a little bit in reserve. That car working very stably on the brakes and got inside. Collard predictably did have a go back, but now if Gareth can gap him on this very first lap, he'll be okay.
Remember what happened between Rob Collard and Matt Neal earlier on this year? That was between the Team Halfords car and Rob Collard when they made contact on the main straight. I'm sure there won't be any repeat of that here. Collard just left the door open. Talk us through it, Tim.
Yeah, he left the gap there. I mean, Gareth was close to him, but he just let the brakes off, allowed the car to run up, and he doesn't run wide. That's the good thing. It proves it was a really good manoeuvre. Collard tries to cut back, a little bit of rubbing there, but oh no, that's how.
Yeah, he's gone off. He's hit the tyres on the outside, and that's the same place that he overtook a lap ago. He'd done all the hard work. What's he done?
Well, I just wonder if that little bit of contact might have done any damage to the back, because he's run wide.
Got on the grass.
He hasn't actually stopped the car. He hasn't been able to brake the car on the circuit, and once he's hit the tarmac, well, he's just run on too deep on the brakes. He either missed his braking point completely and just couldn't stop it before he hit the grass, or something went wrong with the car, but very strange accident.
Jason Plato comes through to win the first race of the day at Brands Hatch. An untroubled, easy win for the Seat driver. Second place goes to series leader Matt Neal, and that's definitely what he needs at the moment. Third place for Gordon Shedden.
No, Shedden's gone off on the last lap. Turkington has taken third place. Shedden has gone off on the last lap, I think up at Clearways. Bizarrely, the same place.
He's just crossed the line there.
He just crossed the line in 7th place. Here we go. Is it the same problem that happened to Gareth Howell? He's running wide. It's exactly the same, so I suspect that was a tyre gone, yes.
So Jason Plato takes the victory ahead of Matt Neal. Colin Turkington inheriting third, right on the line virtually. Tom Chilton fourth, and then in fifth place Rob Collard. Sixth place for Giovanardi, seventh for Gordon Shedden, struggling around to the line. Mike Jordan finished in eighth, ninth went to Dave Pinkney, and on his return to touring cars, Paul O'Neill finished in 10th. Here's the lineup then, Plato on pole, Matt Neal right alongside him in the Team Halfords car. Then on the second row of the grid we've got Colin Turkington and Tom Chilton. Watch out for Chilton, he does love this Prantat circuit, starting in fourth place, he's got a chance. Back on the third row we've got Rob Collard and Fabrizio Giovanardi, Team RACMG versus VX Racing Astra. Then we've got Gordon Shedden and Mike Jordan, both in Honda Integras of course, but one Team Halfords version. Mike Jordan having to start from the back, so he hasn't got that spot on the grid. David Pinkney and Paul O'Neill are next up on the grid. Top 10 completed by those two, and then we go back to James Kay and Adam Jones. Adam Jones was the top of the Lexuses to finish, and he was ahead of Chris Stockton, who therefore lines up in 13th place. Martin Bell was 14th, but I'm not quite sure now. I think he's pulled off into the pit lane, so he's not going to be starting there. Nick Leeson and Darren Dowling are next up on the grid, two new boys to touring cars. Behind them we've got Mark Smith and Mark Jones as well. Mark Jones, another man new to touring cars here this weekend. Now, then watch out for Gareth Howell and Darren Turner, who are back on row number 10 of the grid. And row number 11, no Owen Murray, because he's got a differential problem they've tried to sort out today, but they haven't been able to do it. Jason Hughes is back there, and Gavin Smith will start at the back now with Mike Jordan. Away we go, Plato again getting off the line pretty well, but Matt Neal going with him, and so is Colin Turkington. Turkington trying to squeeze through. Turkington on the inside of Matt Neal, and he squeezes into second place. Matt Neal's going to have to be forced around the outside, but he dares not do that. Plato a touch wide. Now he's got the inside line up towards the hairpin. Oh, that's a great cutback by Matt Neal, squeezing back through into second. Good hard racing, clean so far, and it's the top three away with Jason Plato in front.
Plato made the same good start that he did in the first race, but it was Turkington from third that got away in front of Matt Neal and was a bit cautious through Paddock Hill Bend, that cold rear tyre, and Matt Neal cut back straight away to take the inside into Druids, and that was Rob Collard following through into Surtees, further back getting a place.
And all the battling, of course, allowing Plato to get away a touch. Matt Neal there in second place, third position for Colin Turkington, and then it's Rob Collard, Tom Chilton, Fabrizio Giovanardi, off goes Mark Smith in the Alfa Romeo. I wonder if there was contact with somebody else there, because certainly spinning around fairly quickly. A lot of cars coming from the back, of course, trying to make up some ground as quickly as possible in the early stages of this race. This was the onboard view. Let's just see right behind Mark Smith. No, he lost it on his own right in front. I think that's Jordan, yeah, we're riding with. And Mike Jordan was fortunate there that he didn't cross right in front of the car.
Well, Mark Smith missed the apex on the left considerably, and in fact Mike Jordan, with a bit of target fixation following him, nearly went off as well.
So Jason Plato with the advantage once again, looking for 2 out of 2 here at Brands Hatch. Sayat won all 3 races at Brands earlier on this year. Can they do it again this time around? Collard 4th place, Giovanardi in 5th position, and Giovanardi in the Vauxhall with the red stripe across the windscreen. Here we are on board with him, tucked in behind Rob Collard. This is good racing, and Giovanardi of course had a pretty tough task in that first race to keep Mike Jordan behind him, but now he's got a chance here. Ooh, a little bit of contact, a bit of rubbing, pushing, and Giovanardi's through.
Well, that was aggressive driving. I mean, Giovanardi's fired up in this race. I don't know what happened to Tom Chilton. Chilton was running in front of Giovanardi, but dropped back a few places, and Giovanardi, being very forceful then with Collard, gives him a tap once, put him wide, and then pushes him unceremoniously wide.
Yeah, that was fairly aggressive. Remember, Giovanardi turned himself around the front of Collard here earlier on this year and hit the wall hard, but he certainly managed to push his way through there. Now, Collard's got to watch out, because Gordon Shedden on the grass on the main straight, my goodness. He got that back brilliantly. That could have been a huge accident on the main straight.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he did not lift off that throttle one iota. If you saw his throttle trace, that was flat all the way down and side by side. That's
Chilton, yeah.
That's Chilton getting through now.
And Pinkney on the inside.
The inside of Chilton, and there's a contact, and he hits all 3 of them.
It's all going wrong out there. Pinkney took advantage of the loss of momentum of the cars ahead and just managed to nip past both, and all cars still going. Dave Pinkney, he might be one of the oldest drivers in the field, but he gives nothing to one of the youngest, and he gets ahead of Tom Chilton there. Brilliant. Hard racing. Collard's trying to come back down the inside into Surtees. Well, it was all a little bit steady in race 1, but it's all coming alive in race 2.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That was great opportunities passed then by Pinkney as Chilton and and Collard rubbed up. He went up the inside, and he had the ideal place going into Druids. Here we are, he's in the right spot. Chilton tries to turn in, and Collard's on the outside and gets whacked once again up at Druids. Poor old Rob Collard always seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, but good drive by David Pinkney.
This was the start, Tim.
Yeah, this is the start, and I mean, Neil doesn't make a bad getaway relative to Plato, but already up on his inside, on his right, little touch there. There's Turkington, who made the best getaway of all three of them, and was straight away up alongside. But look at that cutback, a really good cutback, slightly on the grass, but Turkington knew he was there, and he knew he would have to concede that position.
Yeah, that was good racing between them, actually. They gave each other just about enough room, and very clean at the tricky time. Adam Jones off in the gravel. That's a great shame.
Paddock,
he was running,
doesn't it? That looks like Paddock.
Safety
the
car.
safety car may well be out for that, because that's considered a dangerous position.
just take another look at what happened.
Oh, there was a touch there. That was Stockton or Dowling. Not sure which one that was. One of the other Lexus having an in-Lexus fight there, and a touch on the back of Adam Jones, and off he went. No way to save that.
This is Ben in the commentary box calling Matt. How are things going out there? Jason looks pretty fast today.
It's okay, Ben. It's just I pushed hard the first few laps. I think Jason's just proving that a little bit too quick for us.
Presumably you've just got to focus on keeping going with the points and not taking too many gambles, yeah?
Nah, stop that, mate. I'm going for the win if I can get it, but it's going to be pretty tough today.
Out of clear ways they come. Jason Plato takes the restart then for this second race at Brands Hatch. Matt Neal's got a good restart going, and this might be his chance to try and take the lead from the Seat. Plato has led the two races. He's dominated the two races so far, but Matt Neal, series leader, wants a chance to take the win. We talked to him on the radio, and he's not just settling for points today. He's going for victory. Right behind him still is Colin Turkington, and then behind Turkington is Gordon Shedden. And Shedden's made good progress in this race as well, so we'll keep an eye out for any more as we go through the next couple of laps.
That was a good restart by Matt Neal. He was all over the back of Jason Plato like a rash, but no advantage that he could find there, and Plato's car just looks so good on the brakes into Druids and out of the corner as well.
Giovanardi, I think, just tapped the back of Shedden then, as we saw him trying to get up into clearways a little bit more tightly. Jason Plato, though, has kept the lead on this restarted race, and Matt Neal can't quite attack into Paddock Hill Bend. Then it's Turkington versus Gordon Shedden. That's a fairly crucial battle as well, but look at Matt Neal, very quick through Paddock Hill Bend, and definitely just that little closer to the back of the Seat. Now you've got the two big rivals of British touring cars currently, Jason Plato and Matt Neal, head to head here. Let's hope they keep it clean. This is for race victory. Look, Mike Jordan is picking off some places. He's just got past James Kay. That's for 12th. He was 14th a few moments ago, and he's had a pit stop, so he's doing all right.
Yeah, he came in under that safety car. Oh, and a slide there from Kay. Was that Stockton up behind him again?
I think it may have been. Yep, that's Chris Stockton, who just gave him that slight little tap. Stockton, a hard racer. He's raced in the Legends Series and CVR Tuscans. He knows what it is to get involved in a little bit of panel rubbing. And let's just see Mike Jordan, a moment ago this was, as he had the run on James Kay.
Yeah, he gets a good line through there. James Kay goes in a bit tight and runs out wide. Jordan gets the run at him then alongside, and he's alongside. And then obviously Chris Stockton at Clearways tried to take advantage as well. Here it is, looking up the inside, just taps James Kay, who does well to hold it. But we've seen Chris Stockton hit a couple of cars in this race, and bearing in mind they haven't got a lot of spare parts, he wants to be careful.
Out of Clearways, Jason Plato is going to make this yet another fairly easy victory, and Seat will be celebrating already. It's win number 8 now for Jason Plato this year. Second position goes to Matt Neal, and third goes to Colin Turkington. Back on at the podium once again, with Shedden fourth. Giovanardi, I think, is just going to take the next place. Yep, ahead of Chilton, Collard, Howell, Pinkney, and Jason Hughes. And with that victory then, Jason Plato onto 8 wins this year. That puts him 1 win ahead of Matt Neal. There's the position then, Plato the winner from Matt Neal and Colin Turkington. Gordon Shedden in 4th from Giovanardi, Chilton, Collard. Then Gareth Howell in 8th place, coming up from the back. Dave Pinkney in 9th, and Jason Hughes picking up a point there for 10th place. So we've got Chilton and Giovanardi on the front row. The Vauxhall should be in good shape here. The second row of the grid features Gordon Shedden and Colin Turkington. Turkington still desperate to score some more points. Behind them then, the warring duo of Matt Neal and Jason Plato. They're on the third row of the grid. The fourth row of the grid, we've got Rob Collard and Gareth Howell. And then behind them, David Pinkney, who had a good run going in race 2, then dropped some places. Jason Hughes is next to him. Sixth row on the grid, we've got Paul O'Neill and Chris Stockton. And then back on the seventh row, it's James Kay and Mark Smith in the Alfa Romeo. Eighth row sees Mike Jordan, hopefully having solved his gearbox problems. Mark Jones is next to him. Then it's Darren Dowling and Gavin Smith on the ninth row of the grid. The 10th row sees Adam Jones and Darren Turner hopefully have sorted out their engine troubles. And at the back, it's Martin Bell in the BMW. All set to see how this one is resolved then in race number 3. Jason Plato, those 2 victories earlier on, and now he's going to have to do it from a little bit further back on the grid. He's going to be in 6th place on the grid this time. Matt Neal obviously in 5th position. So let's, Tom Chilton it is who's going to be lining up in pole position. Fabrizio Giovanardi right alongside. Those 2 Vauxhalls, a great opportunity for them to work as a team here. But, you know, both Chilton and Giovanardi still sort of trying to establish themselves as number 1 in that team. Giovanardi, of course, doesn't have to prove it in some ways. He's such a great record. And Chilton there just in position, ready to go from pole, just tucked in behind them as well. Gordon Shedden and Colin Turkington, and then Matt Neal and Jason Plato. Last few cars just coming into position at the rear of the grid. Really is fantastic to see so many cars in the British Touring Car Championship here at Brands Hatch this weekend. 1 or 2 have had problems, so we've not got quite as many as we started today, but that's all part and parcel of this kind of racing. And now it's the opportunity for Tom Chilton to see if he can hold on to the advantage of pole position and take it all the way through to his first win for Vauxhall. All set to go racing, 24 laps of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit coming up. They're away, and Chilton trying to get off pole. Giovanardi quickly trying to cut down, but he doesn't make it. And that means Shedden gets into 2nd place. Giovanardi didn't really get off the line too well. Gordon Shedden is up into 2nd place. And that means that Vauxhall may well have a fight on their hands, because Gordon Shedden's fast. Fit Pinkney, they are in the gravel. One of the Lexus cars is that Dowling. No, it's Stockton, it's Chris Stockton, and a wheel off on that car, and he's got absolutely no control.
Yeah, disaster for Chris Stockton. Don't know what caused that, but it took the left front wheel clean off, and he was straight in there. I mean, fortunately he's got the car reasonably out of the way and nobody else was involved. Great start by the 2 Halfords cars. Shedden absolutely got a flyer, got up inside Chilton and got that 2nd place, which he's defending now. And Matt Neal got a good start as well.
Giovanardi's just got up alongside Shedden. I think he may have nudged him a bit into the corner, and Giovanardi's got inside him. I wonder if we're going to see any safety car. No sign of it at the moment. They're racing hard at the moment for 2nd position.
Safety car's just shot out in front of these 2,
right.
Literally at maximum speed, just got out in front of it, but has everyone else behind seen it or not? But as you say, yeah, Giovanardi, a tough pass, and Shedden doesn't like it. Shedden, I think, is trying to dispute that place.
Yeah, in fact,
look, they're going round side by side,
and looking at the timing
screen,
yeah, Shedden is actually being shown a 2nd, so presumably he got across in 2nd. Did he just by a fraction from Giovanardi? If that's the case, then he'll hold it. Now let's see, this is what happened on the first lap. Coming out of paddock, Stockton and Pinkney seemed to get together in the corner, and then as a result of that, the front wheel just departed company.
Well, I mean, they're designed to take a load in a certain direction, obviously, and that certainly wasn't the direction it was designed to take a load under. There's he was over the curve on the inside with Stockton. Fortunately, Pinkney saved it. Good recovery from Pinkney, and hopefully that, well, he's going slowly there, so, and he then hits the tyre as well. That's a real shame. Now Pinkney, the innocent one there. That was Stockton over the curves on the inside, but he stopped. But it now looks like that position between Shedden and Giovanardi's been resolved, with Giovanardi dropping back to 3rd. His team will have told him, having seen the timing screen, to drop back.
Yeah,
but so wait for the restart.
It's going to be fiery, isn't it, between the Italian and the Scot. Giovanardi forcing his way into 2nd, but now Shedden back in that position, and Tom Chilton is the race leader. Let's just take a look at the onboard from Mike Jordan's point of view. I don't know if you can see what happened when Chris Stockton, can't really see from this angle, we're tucked in behind Paul O'Neill here. Oh yeah, you could just see Stockton's car touch the inside the grass on the curb, and then all breaking loose on the left-hand side, and Mike Jordan kept well to the right, and hopefully out of the way.
Yeah, well out of the way there, Mike Jordan, and the right place to be. So action already at the start of this race, and well, Giovanardi always starts these races fast, doesn't he? He really, really does. He's pushing very hard.
Yeah, but he didn't actually get off the line so well, so we'll have to see what he does when they get to restart. Trying to sort out David Pinkney's car there, trying to get that car out of the way. Obviously, this is delaying the restart of the race. We're having laps added to the race distance because of all this. A 24-lap race, but you add up to 3 laps if the safety car is out there for a while, and that looks likely here. Safety car being driven by Scott Stringfellow, former F3 racer in the UK. And, of course, looking further back, we know that Matt Neal is currently running in 4th position. Got a chance, perhaps, to have a quick chat with Matt. Let's have a word with him. Ben to Matt, how are things out there for you, Matt? Up to 4th place already, can you do better?
Yeah, I think the Vauxhalls are achievable in front, but I've got to be ever so careful. Jason's looking very racy behind me.
Hopefully you managed to avoid any of the dramas through paddock first time. Looked pretty clean for you, was it?
Yeah, first lap was clean front up the front, mate, so that's all right. I'm just going to try and get my head down and move on.
Thanks, Matt. Best of luck. Well, Matt Neal working on trying to stay ahead of Jason Plato. That's the key thing from his point of view. Let's see how his start went.
Yeah, watch Shedden in front, because he gets a really good start, just squeezes inside the Vauxhall of Giovanardi, who tried ever so hard to close it down. Neal actually had a good run on him on the inside. All the front cars hugging the inside to protect their line. Neal gets a good run through there, no opportunity really to gut the inside to gain a place, but he just defends as they go into Druids. And they're clean away, 2nd and 4th, the Halfords cars, 1st and 3rd, the Vauxhalls. But his focus from that interview, the chat you had then, very much on Jason Plato behind him, wasn't it?
Yes, that's all he's got to watch. He's in his mirrors, the Seat, and Matt Neal knows how quick that car has been all day here today. It's going to be tough to keep him behind. Behind them, Turkington, Collard, and then Howell, Hughes up there as well. Paul O'Neill in 10th, Mike Jordan in 11th. And then Gavin Smith in 12th place, Adam Jones ahead of Darren Dowling, but it's taking a bit of time to get these cars removed.
Well, if they're going to attempt to move that Lexus onto the back of a flatbed truck, it's going to take a long time. That is not going to be a quick move.
This was the view from Giovanardi.
Moving straight across, but at the last minute he knows he cannot defend against Shedden. Fortunately, Shedden had got a long way inside him, and it wasn't a repeat of Giovanardi's teammate Smith's accident in the first race, which already got turned into the wall.
I'll tell you what, Gordon Shedden's not one to be easily intimidated, is he? He kept his foot in there. We saw him keep his foot in earlier when he was on the grass as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was very, very hard, wasn't it? Flash by name. But let's see if later on this lap, I think Giovanardi gives him a tap if we stay on board, because Giovanardi clearly went inside him up at Clearways. Let's watch through here. Giovanardi very quick through there. Shedden has a bit of a bobble in the corner. Giovanardi sees the opportunity and does run straight into the back of him and pushes him wide. But as we know, by the time they get to the line, Shedden on the left is just a fraction, 1/10 of a second in front. We may still see it. Will we see it? No, we don't see it, but he is in front on the left, and Giovanardi has relinquished that position.
So back into 3rd place, Giovanardi, after squeezing through into 2nd very, very briefly. So those were the pictures from earlier. That's when the safety car picked them up. That's when they were passing the incident for the first time. And at the moment, they're still trying to clear up that incident. There we are, that's the live pictures now. And it looks as though Chris Stockton's car may well be left
well,
there.
They're going to drag it backwards
now.
I think they realise without a front wheel and any easy way to turn it, then they're not going to drag that thing frontwards up onto a low loader. So they're either going to drag it backwards. I mean, it's a question one, this one. Is it really in a point of danger? I think if they move it further down the hill, I hope they've got some way of stopping that car once it gets going, but if they move further down the hill, it's not in the way quite so much, is it? But it is a problem for the marshals. They're doing the best job they can.
Very difficult when the wheel comes off the car, so let's just hope they can get themselves sorted out. This is all causing a little delay. Dave Pinkney, that is, walking back, and obviously too much damage done to his car as a result of that incident. Contact made with his car by Chris Stockton, and then of course he hit the errant wheel as well. And poor old Dave Pinkney's having to watch from the sidelines a bit too often, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had some flashes of tremendous racing and has had some good results. I know he's really enjoyed his season this year, and but he was looked to be a totally innocent one. I know it annoys him when he gets the car damaged and doesn't get to race, but you know, that's touring car racing. He's been in the thick of it, and he knows most of the marshals personally, so he can have a good old chat with them. He's been around long enough.
That's right. Well, he's always a popular figure at the racetracks around the country. Porsche's still out there. The safety car leads them round for another lap. Will have gone up to 27 laps maximum race distance now, so I don't think there'll be any different change there. We might just have another quick word with Matt, who's still running in 4th position. Let's have a quick chat. This is Ben to Matt. Obviously a long time you're sitting behind the safety car here, Matt. Any concerns about sort of tyre pressures and tyre temperatures when it's like this?
Not too bad, mate. We're always a little concerned with tyre pressures at the beginning of the early part of the race, so it's actually given me a few more laps to try and weave a bit of extra heat into them.
Matt, it's Tim here in the box. I'm interested to know how you're going to deal with Jason behind you on the restart.
I was hoping Colin was going to hold him back for a lap or two when I got past Colin, but with Jason behind me, I'm going to have my work cut out for a bit, I can see.
Okay, good luck.
So Matt Neal does know he's got his work cut out with the silver and yellow Seat directly behind him. He's got no one to protect his rear bumper. There you are on board with his big rival, Jason Plato, and he'll be quite happy with the way things are looking at the moment. Just sitting in behind Matt Neal, and he will want to go on the attack. Of course, in a way, Matt Neal's got more to lose by ending this race in a gravel trap somewhere than Jason Plato has, but Jason will also be watched quite carefully, I'm sure, by the officials to make sure he keeps it clean.
Yeah,
Colin Turkington.
The lights have gone out on the safety car, so they'll be in for starting racing at the end of this lap. I mean, Jason has certainly had the class of the field, the car and everything this weekend. I think some of that has been due to the high temperatures we've had this weekend. The cars are lapping about half a second slower than they were when we were here in April, despite development during the season. And that's because the grip is at a premium here on the circuit. They're using the same excellent Dunlop tyre that they used at the start of the year, but because grip's at a premium, it maybe favours his car, which is a little bit lighter, therefore doesn't slide around quite as much on the low grip surface today, and therefore works its tyres a little bit better. But Dunlop have got a very good car tyre. They've told everybody to stay off the curbs in the first few laps. It's the most dangerous part of the race. Now they get ready for a restart.
So this is the order: Chilton ahead of Shedden, then Giovanardi, Neal, Plato and Turkington. That's your top six. Behind them Pollard, Howell and Hughes, then Paul O'Neill and Mike Jordan and Gavin Smith. Here we go then, safety car in, we're going to be racing again. Tom Chilton launches himself out of clearways, hard on the power of the Vauxhall Astra Sports hatch. Tucked in behind him is the Scot, Gordon Shedden, and then it's Giovanardi under a little bit of pressure from Matt Neal as well, in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Matt Neal knows that Jason Plato's going to be racing behind him, and Chilton was brave through Paddock there. He really threw everything into that first corner to stay ahead of Gordon Shedden, and it's Vauxhall ahead of Team Halford's Honda, then the other Vauxhall, then Matt Neal and Jason Plato all sandwiched together.
This is a touring car freight train. Look at this. They've got 6-8 cars covered with literally millimetres between them.
Good stuff so far. Now Chilton was leading the race earlier on this year. Can that Vauxhall maintain the pace throughout the race distance? Look behind, because Shedden under some pressure again from Giovanardi, and Jason Plato got a little look up the inside of Matt Neal here. Jason Plato definitely on the inside. This is not what Matt Neal needs, and Plato's got a great opportunity, but Neal's going to try and squeeze him out, is he? There's still just enough space to get in front of the Seat, and Matt Neal holds the position for now.
That was incredibly close. Matt Neal just had a slight momentum advantage coming on the start pit lane, but he didn't squeeze Plato into the wall. He just managed to wait till he was inches past his front bumper and then pull across. Good judgment.
Yeah, excellent racing between the two of them. Chilton's just beginning to make a little bit of break up front, riding on board with Jason Plato still, and Plato has behind him Colin Turkington and then Rob Pollard as well. So Plato through, there's Turkington tucked in behind Jason Plato. These two drivers in fact really still racing for second place in the championship. Not that either of them really cares about being second, they both want to be champion, and Matt Neal is stepping closer and closer to that mark. But as it stands at the moment, Matt Neal will not leave Brands Hatch as champion. He's still going to have some work to do when they get to Silverstone.
Absolutely, that's the way we want it to be, down to the wire if possible. But this is a great battle between Matt Neal and Jason Plato through this final racing track.
Colin Turkington follows the two of them up the hill, brakes on the Plato Seat down into the slowest corner, and then back on the power as they accelerate from about 50 miles an hour up to about 100 miles an hour before they get on the brakes again in through Graham Hill Bend. And Chilton has opened up this advantage. Now this is impressive from Tom Chilton and Vauxhall, because that car in second place, Gordon Shedden, he's had more fastest laps than anyone else this year in British touring cars. There's no doubting his pace and that car's pace, and yet Chilton here is easing away a little bit.
Yeah, this could be slightly to do with Shedden being careful in these early laps with his tyre pressures, but certainly you're right, Chilton's doing a fantastic job, because he's driving away inch by inch at the moment by Shedden, but it's a long way to go in this race, and they are in identical cars. They're obviously both British touring car spec cars. Oh, Shedden pulls very close to the inside there, where he's got a problem. Shedden's got a problem.
Giovanardi at the inside as a result of that, and Shedden on the outside, and as you say, it did look a bit strange there from Gordon Shedden's point of view. He's sort of given up that position. Did he have a problem with the car? Second place for Giovanardi. Now, we gather it might have been a pass under safety car. It may be that he had to pull out of the way, because he certainly pulled over, didn't he?
Yeah, he pulled over, and clearly he didn't let Matt Neal through either. So he was obviously giving up that position. If it wasn't a mechanical problem, he was giving it up for a good reason.
So maybe there was some dissension about who was leading across the line on that safety car, and it looks now as though it's been readjusted. So Giovanardi up into second. It is a Vauxhall 1-2 now, but of course Shedden, having dropped back to third, can go on the attack once again and try and get back past the Italian. All this is allowing Tom Chilton to just ease away a touch more, and behind him Matt Neal, Jason Plato and Colin Turkington to get even closer together.
Yeah, Chilton, as we said earlier, loves this track, scored his first ever podium here before he ever had a road licence. I know he's got a lot of family support here as well this weekend, and driving really well.
Yeah, it's beautiful at the moment. We're on board with Matt Neal here, looking back at Jason Plato. See how close the car comes under braking into clearways, almost rubbing bumpers, but not quite. That camera could be in danger here if they get much closer. Out of clearways they come. On the power, not a huge amount of difference between the two different specifications of cars. They're still remarkably evenly matched on power out of that corner. And up front, Giovanardi having to protect his back of the Vauxhall from Gordon Shedden in the first of the Team Halfords car.
Yeah, I'm surprised that if Shedden doesn't have a go at Giovanardi fairly soon, then he may be asked to let Matt Neal through, because Matt Neal's under pressure from Plato and could really do with having his teammate behind him, unless his teammate can get past Giovanardi.
Yeah, that's right. He's got to work fairly quickly here, has Gordon Shedden. He, of course, still in the hunt for perhaps second place in the championship, although today hasn't been a particularly good day, certainly from that first race when he dropped a few valuable points with a late puncture. But meanwhile, Plato there, tucked in behind Matt Neal again. And on the Vauxhall garage, everybody keeping a close eye on things here. They want this victory, and Tom Chilton wants his first win of the season, his first win driving a Vauxhall. It would be so significant here at Brands Hatch as well, the track he very much considers his home circuit. At the moment, his teammate's doing a good job of keeping everyone up behind him.
He certainly is. He's helping Tom. The longer Giovanardi can stay there, the better. You know, Tom's a really effervescent character. He's enthusiastic about his racing. It's lovely to see a young guy. He just loves his job so much. And I'd love him to get a victory. Obviously, Giovanardi's got one, but for much of the season, Chilton perhaps has been the pace setter in the team, and he deserves a win.
Yes, he does. Riding again with Jason Plato, tucked in behind Matt Neal. Brake lights on as they come up to clearways. A bit more cloud around now, but I think it's going to stay dry as we go through the remainder of this race. They're coming around this time to complete lap number 16 that they're on at the moment. On to lap 17 out of 27. And it's looking good for Vauxhall. It's a 1-2 for Chilton and Giovanardi so far. Shedden and Neal, the two teammates, running third and fourth. Then Jason Plato, winner of the early two races here today. But when you get stuck in the group like this, it's so much more difficult to work your way forwards. And Plato certainly doesn't want to throw the car off in trying to do that. He's not going to take some big gambles, but he would love to get past Matt Neal.
He would, but he's got Turkington closing up on him, and as soon as one of these cars, whether it's Giovanardi or one of the others, goes defensive, the others will instantly trip over each other, and then you've got the scenario where someone can gain 2 or 3 places in one go.
A little bit of a lock-up from Giovanardi, a little puff of smoke under braking, but there's no problem there. That's just because he's right on the limit of tyre adhesion as he gets onto the brakes into clearways. That's beautiful control. Tucked in behind him, still that same group. Further back, you can see Mike Jordan a little bit lonely in 9th position. He's just eased away a touch from Jason Hughes. Gavin Smith, Paul O'Neill behind it. There are the positions for the top 6. Further down the order, still Martin Bell running in 14th place, Mark Smith in 15th, Darren Dowling 16th, Mark Jones down in 17th, James Kay, of course, had a problem earlier on. So
yeah, Mike Jordan on that last lap was the fastest car on the track. He's the white car at the back of the pack, and as you say, he's pulled away a little bit. He's just come into shot there, catching up with Gareth Howe. So Jordan's got the fastest car on the track at the moment, and he's a man on a mission. There he is.
Well, they've had gearbox problems a lot throughout the course of today, and he had them again in that last race. And now we'll see whether he can close up the gap a little bit more on Pollard and Howell, who are running just up ahead of him. That's the battle for 7th position. There is Jordan. They've had a frustrating day, as I say, but maybe he can make up for it. This was last time through clearways. I think Plato may have tapped Matt Neal's car. Ooh, yeah. That was definitely a little friendly nudge, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a soft nudge by Plato standards, wasn't it? But his car is very good round that section of the track, and he's obviously looking to gain an advantage there and at least worry Matt and keep him thinking.
One of his favourites overtaking spots into clearways, but then Matt Neal's done a few pretty amazing manoeuvres up that section of circuit himself over the years. Plato there, this is the section again. Is he going to touch the back of Matt Neal's car again? Matt Neal takes a tight line in, but that might give Plato a chance on the exit of the corner to get a bit of a better run, but that Honda's so strong as they come off the apex and back onto Brabham Straight.
Yeah, good on board, Jason Plato. He does like that inside line at clearways, but so does Matt Neal, so there's not an opportunity without a little bit of rubbing or a mistake to get past, but Jason just dropping back a little bit actually on the exit there.
Up under the bridge once more. Slow corner this by circuit standards, but it's still over 50 miles an hour in one of these cars. And then down the hill once again, and look at Colin Turkington tucked in behind Jason Plato. So little shoes between them, and remarkably clean so far, considering some of the incidents, some of the damage, particularly last time out at Knock Hill, where it all turned into a bit of a crash fest. Here it's been remarkably clean. Maybe speaking a bit soon, we've still got some 7 and a bit laps to do in this race.
Yeah, and it's just starting to close up a little bit at the front, isn't it? Chilton 2/10 slower on the last lap to Giovanardi. They cross the line now, and we'll see what their respective lap times are. And once again, another 4/10 slower than Giovanardi on this lap, Chilton. So he's going to back the field up close together.
Darren Turner should be in this race. There he is in the yellow shirt, watching from the sidelines after engine problems on his Seat. But as you say, you're absolutely right. Chilton is now seriously under pressure from his own teammate Fabrizio Giovanardi. They've all closed up together. Didn't need a safety car to close this bunch up. It's happened because Chilton is struggling now maybe for grip in the latter stages of the race. Watch the car, see how much it's moving around. A little bit of a twitch into 30. Look at the way he brakes into the corner at clearways.
Yeah, he's braking on the bend, getting the back end moving to help turn the car into the corner, then releasing the brake and firing it out as straight as possible. That takes the load off the front tyres because they're not steering as much.
Well, it's effective, but is he using the tyres a bit hard and therefore losing a bit of ground? Giovanardi definitely that much closer, and then the two Team Halfords cars are there as well, both Shedden and Matt Neal. Remember, as it stands at the moment, it's not enough for Matt Neal to wrap up the title. They will go to Silverstone in a few weeks' time to determine the outcome of this championship, and Jason Plato's chances are still alive because he's tucked in behind Matt Neal at the moment. But still a few laps to go, and as they get closer and closer, surely anything could happen amongst this bunch.
Well, it certainly can. If it's not before, it could always be on the last lap, just like the last meeting at Knock Hill. But as this field closes up at the front, the tempers and the attempts to get through past the cars become more and more frantic.
Yeah, more and more desperate, and that's what we might have to watch out for here. Across the line, they'll complete 22 out of the 27 laps. On to lap 23 now. They are beginning to run out of time, but Tom Chilton wants this win so much, and although he lost a little bit of that lead, he seems to have just regained a touch of breathing space. Presumably Giovanardi's not going to make a huge lunge on the race leader. The last thing Vauxhall need in this position is to take both cars out. They would be so pleased with a 1-2 finish here at Brands Hatch to finish the day, and to pick up the pieces of what has been a disappointing season for the manufacturer that has really dominated this form of touring car racing over the last 5 years or so. It does look as though Seat are going to win the Manufacturers' Championship, but again, they're not going to do it here at Brands. They're going to have to wait till they get to Silverstone, and Vauxhall are clinging on for everything they have to a 1-2 finish here and keep pushing Seat all the way to the flag, if you like, at Silverstone. Across the line then, another lap completed, 23 laps in the book. We're on to lap 24 now. Still no change, still Chilton has the edge. Giovanardi doing a good backup job in second place, and Shedden can't find a way through.
Yeah, and everybody holding the tight inside line in the braking area up to Druids to defend the inside. So close. Oh, is this Shedden looking down the inside? Nearly caught the back of Giovanardi. That'll give Matt Neal a little run onto the back straight in behind him.
Yeah, not quite enough, was it? It was a definite little look, because Giovanardi's been a bit wide out of the hairpin, and it's only that little tiny error that you make. So, oh, and Chilton, look at Chilton, completely crossed up, and surely Giovanardi. Giovanardi's going to take the lead. He does. And Chilton tacks down to second place. He makes a mistake there. And as he comes across the line this time, 24 laps completed onto lap number 25. And Chilton now has the task not only of trying to get back in front, but of protecting his second place.
Yeah, Matt Neal's going to try and cut back. He's seen that car's loose. Chilton, good driving by Chilton. He doesn't come inside. And now Shedden.
Oh, Matt Neal!
Yeah.
That's Matt Neal in trouble, the championship leader. It's a non-finish for Matt Neal. After all of that, it's a non-finish for Matt Neal. He can't believe it. Here at Brands Hatch, the only other track that he's had a non-finish this year, and it's happened again at Brands.
And it was in the third race last time. I mean, it looked like there was room there. It looked like there was room to get through. Chilton looked like he was staying wide, but didn't work out.
And look at that was Chilton. They're still at it.
Collard
Chilton's still sliding, yeah. Collard getting through, and now this has given Howell a chance to get alongside Rob Collard, so this is a change of position as well. This is for, I think, going to be 5th place when they cross the line. Let's just see how that resolves it. Yeah, Collard battling there with Howell. Howell actually now up into 5th position, but the race leader is Fabrizio Giovanardi. 25 laps have been completed, a lap and a half to go here, and we thought there might be some late race dramas. Didn't expect that, though.
Well, that all started back at Clearways when Chilton got wide. Look up ahead. Shedden is already through. Matt Neal tries to follow him through. The wheels collide and just lifts Matt Neal's car up in the air, which immediately releases any braking effort that he could do. I mean, they were both doing the right thing there, but they just caught wheels.
Yeah, it looks like, did Plato hit the back of that car as well? That on board, it was a bit hard to tell whether he got involved as well.
This is on board with Matt Neal following his teammate Shedden, who gets alongside. So Matt Neal thinks, right, I'll follow through the gap. He gets up alongside, tight behind, and then wham, gets contact and gets launched up in the air.
Well, Matt Neal's been lucky on a lot of occasions this year, but his luck ran out with that one, didn't it? He was just launched, as you say, over the front end of Tom Chilton. But we're into the final stages of this race, and it is Giovanardi, surely, who's going to take the victory. The final half a lap to go, and Giovanardi is heading for his second win for Vauxhall in 2 meetings. It should perhaps have been a 1-2 for Vauxhall. It's not the case, but he is going to hold on to take the win. Shedden is in second place. Plato will pick up the points for third, and Matt Neal will score nothing. Nothing from this third race of the day. It's success for the Italian. Fabrizio Giovanardi takes his second win of the year. Shedden takes second, Plato third, and a close fourth is Colin Turkington.
Well, Halfords will be wondering, should they have let Matt Neal through in front of Shedden earlier in the race? Then he could have taken advantage of that Chilton slip and not been caught there. But a great victory for Vauxhall. The championship still goes down to the wire, the last meeting, and how must he be feeling? He won't be in love with Brands Hatch.
Oh, it's not worked out for him this year. The only 2 non-finishes for Matt Neal this year have been here at Brands Hatch, but Giovanardi looks delighted with victory once more for Vauxhall. They were on the front row, but they still had to make it work. Look at that, great fun as he's throwing that car around. And the 39-year-old, he looks like a kid, doesn't he? Chucking that car around, 7 times a touring car champion. You'd think that winning races wouldn't mean that much, but that meant a huge amount. You can tell in his celebrations and his enjoyment. It's been a tough year for Fabrizio Giovanardi, but boy, he enjoyed that one. He takes the win ahead of Gordon Shedden in second, Plato in third, Turkington, Gareth Howell and Rob Collard, then Mike Jordan, Tom Chilton, Jason Hughes, and the top 10 completed by Gavin Smith.
So after all that drama, let's have a look at the latest championship standings. Matt Neal is still stuck on 265 points. Now just 35 points behind is Jason Plato, with Colin Turkington in third place. Remember, there are 52 points available. 52 points available.